Right, we're recording now. Okay, Chairman. Item 1 is apologies for absence. I checked just before I opened the meeting up about 5 to 6. I had no email apologies at all.
Can we note Councillor Thornton's absence, please?
It's Councillor Thornton, and I was looking around. We don't have Councillor Elvin this evening either.
I do not put apologies in.
No, as I say,
No.
I've checked my emails at 5 to 6 there. Unless he's going to join us shortly.
Yeah.
I know he has sometimes join meetings a little bit later.
Yeah.
So that's 2. That's Councillor Thornton. Oh, here he is, just as we're speaking. Just joining us now. Give him a minute.
No bother.
Clark.
Hello, Councillor Dodds.
Councillor Heron said he would be attending, but he would be attending a little late.
Okie dokie.
But he's not on the committee.
No, I realise. I'll keep a lookout for him. And this thing normally pings when there's somebody trying to join. I'll keep a watch out for him.
Evening.
Yeah, Councillor Elvin, you with us now?
Yes. Excuse me. My apologies, Chair, for my late joining. My computer decided it didn't want to play ball, but it's working now. So,
right.
My apologies for.
Okay, so say we're just on apologies for absence there. I haven't had any at all. Councillor Thornton's absence will be recorded as unapproved. Okay, item 2. Any declarations of interest from anyone?
I don't think so.
Can you all just give me an indication so I'm absolutely clear?
Nothing.
No.
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 Councillor Turner? No,
I don't think it's.
Thanks. Can I just ask as well, can members please put their audio off if they're not speaking, please? Just try to reduce any interference or poor sound quality. All right, and item 3 is public participation. Do we want to allocate a specific time, Chairman? No, Councillor Geddes, you are on mute. Got you now.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever we've done before. There's only 2 people, I think, so 15 minutes or whatever, or
Well, we've previously allowed up to 10 minutes. Then at the last events committee, you allowed some discretion for people to dive in and out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Item 4, Remembrance 2020. If I can just introduce this item, Chairman.
Can I just come in, Graham, with this, because I've just opened my phone and I just want to give this address over to you while I'm here.
Right.
And this is from the Coldstream Guards. This is the address where we want the thank you letter.
Chairman, can I just make a suggestion? Unless they've given their consent for it to be broadcast publicly, just tell me tomorrow or tell me after the meeting.
Oh, we don't.
Yeah.
It's actually it's on the public domain because it's on Facebook.
Right. Well, I would prefer you just told me separately.
Oh, we don't.
Play it safe. Data protection all the time.
No bother. No bother.
Champion. I've lost my place now. Yes, I know where I was. Just remembrance. If members recall at the last council meeting, which was on the 19th of October, I just received some government information about what could or could not be done for remembrance commemorations. And we knew where we were working, and until Saturday, when the Prime Minister announced a further lockdown from this Thursday. Now, I've checked my emails today, and I have sent information out to all members, but not all of you may have seen it, from the County Association, saying that the government had provided updated information, and there was a link to the government.gov.uk site. Now, I've had a look at it, and all they've done is they've added a link to the announcement that they've made on Saturday. So it doesn't really put into context any of their changes. So my reading of the situation is that we are exactly where we were when we last spoke about this at the full council meeting. I've had a look at the information which came out from the government today, and that quite clearly, or relatively clearly, sets out the new arrangements from Thursday, but it doesn't specifically say what impact or otherwise that might have on remembrance. So my understanding is that the previous information stands, and bear in mind that there are also some local restrictions in place from the City Council in terms of non-usage of their land and highways. So unless there are any questions with that in mind, what I've also done today is emailed members a proposed poster with some suggested wording. It's really for committee to have a think about that. And if it's approved or an alternative is approved, my intention is to print those off tomorrow. I've purchased a laminator and some laminating pouches back in the last week, and I'll put those on display around the mini park, put a Facebook post out about it as well. Now, foolishly, before I left the office, I printed off a copy of the poster so I could read to you, and I've left it on my desk.
That was my next question. Can you put it on the screen?
No, I can't. I wouldn't have been able to put it on screen because it's not on the website with it just being,
Right.
a draft. But some members will have had that, and I'm looking around eagerly to make sure that you've all had it and read it. Yes, Councillor Turner, Councillor Elvin, Councillor Waterson, and Councillor Willis. For those of you who have seen it and read it, do you have any views, please?
It's just some people call it the Memorial Park, and I mean I've done this myself. Sometimes I call it the mini park, sometimes I call it the Memorial Park. So I don't know whether the notice should have Memorial Park on, or just people know it more as a mini park.
Chairman, not being local, I can't give you a definitive answer on that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting Memorial Park and in brackets.
Yeah, slash mini park, or forward slash mini park. Yeah, I agree.
Chair,
Yes.
the official name is the official name. I thought Councillor Turner would have known this. Is the Hetton Mini Park. If you go and look, there is a big sign at the front of the entrance saying Hetton Mini Park, and giving you when it was open and by whom, etc., etc. So contrary to what some people are saying, it's a memorial park. Its official title, in my opinion, is what it says on the board as you go in, which is Hetton Mini Park.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
I think can I just say, Chair? I think the document you've sent out covers everything, Clark. I think it's quite to the point, and clarifies the situation for the public, and will hopefully, stop them from thinking there's any event on. I think it covers everything. It's quite clear.
I'm just reading it at the moment. Sorry.
So I would agree with Councillor Waterson. If it's the view of the committee that they should put open brackets Memorial Park, then I would have no objections. But as I said before, the official title is Mini Park.
I would say that, put it in brackets, put what it is formally, and then put in brackets, Memorial.
Okay, sounds like we've got consensus there.
Yeah, cheers.
Definitely, yeah.
Right, okay, I'll be on the case tomorrow. Come rain or shine, rain or shine.
Have you got your cable ties to tie it on?
Yes, I do. I do, but they're in the garage, and I'll have to. I'll just tell you a little tale here, because I've kept them from a previous role where I used them to put notices on the cemetery. So there you go. I knew they'd come in handy at some stage. Throw a note away.
That's a dead loss. That tale.
Very good. Very good. Are you here all week? Okie doke. Right, I think unless there are any other queries on remembrance itself, well, I can move on to the flagpole issue, bringing members up to date. But were there any other specifics on remembrance?
Yes, I have one, Clark. I would just like to ask if, do we know if, well, Councillor Turner, do we know if the Fellowship of Churches is carrying anything out on the Sunday?
No, they were talking about the Reverend Tim Wall. He was going to record something on the Saturday and put it on Facebook. But there won't be any event at all round the clock on the Sunday. People just going to go and put the wreaths on.
So similar to the mini park, they're going
Yes,
to.
yeah, there'll just be the wreaths put on.
Thank you.
Councillor Elvin?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I always get confused. We have Remembrance Sunday, then we have the actual day on the 11th, and in the past, we seem to have had two functions, one at the mini park on one day, and then one at the Easington Lane Memorial on the other. Do we have any guidance as to which is the correct day for this? Because I say it seems strange that we have two days, because a lot of people are asking me, say they want to go and lay a wreath, what day should they go? And I'm at a bit of a loss to give them an answer at the moment. Could anybody enlighten me?
Well, I think possibly I can shed some light on that with Councillor Willis. For this year, you know that LCAP's holding a meeting, but it's on private land and it's tickets only. Is that correct, Councillor Willis?
As far as I know, that's had to be cancelled after advice from the Sunderland Council.
Oh, right. So it's not going ahead at all now? Oh, goodness me.
No.
Oh, well, that's one thing. Sorry, Councillor Turner?
They're not just going to raise the wreaths, though. Will somebody not be going in to just raise
the gate is going to be open to the garden.
I thought, and then anybody can go in and put wreaths on if they want to.
But it'll only be open for that day.
Yes.
So if you want to go down, then the gates will be open.
Is that Remembrance Day itself, Christine?
Yes.
Yeah. Just to clarify, there's been people on social media asking, and I know Graham's doing the forms and sticking them out tomorrow, but basically what I said as an individual was, there is no Remembrance Day because of the current COVID. But that there are people that's already said, well, I've bought the wreath, and I've basically said to them, well, unless Sunderland City Council lock all three gates, then, it's up to an individual if they want to lay a wreath. But they would have to do it within the current guidelines, which I've discussed with Graham today anyway. So I think that's where we are with that. But I kind of enlighten Richard to Councillor Elvin as to why there is two different dates for Easington Lane and Hetton. I don't know. Maybe Councillor Turner can shed some light on that.
Well, the Easington Lane one, there's always been a church service,
Right.
and then a parade up to the clock. And the churches take turns in hosting the service. Well, this time it should have been at Easington Lane, but of course it's not going to happen. And then the one at the Memorial Park, we always used to have a service around there, hymn singing, Bible readings, and the laying on of the wreaths. And that was always on the 11th of the 11th.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Elvin?
Well, yes and no. To be honest, I think, really it doesn't. I suppose maybe the 11th is the official day, I take it. But then everything you use, big bash in London always happens on the Sunday, doesn't it? They call it Remembrance Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I
was going to say, sorry, Councillor Evan. No, I was going to say, I'm going back many moons ago here to when I was a young child, when I was in Easington Lane Choir. So I'm going back 50 years here and more. It was always, there was a procession on the Sunday up to the Lane Clock, and you'd have a little service and what have you on it. So it's historic, shall we say. I think that's probably why it's historic that they do one on the Sunday,
Yeah, as the relative newcomer to Hetton Town Council, I understand Councillor Elvin's confusion on this, because it did puzzle me when I first arrived. My own understanding is that, generally speaking, across the nation, it's Remembrance Sunday.
Sunday.
The potential anomaly is with Hetton Town Council, who, by all accounts, have traditionally and historically for a very long period of time done something not on the Sunday, but on the 11th, whichever day of the week that falls. I don't know the rationale behind that decision, but it does seem to be a little anomalous, but it's there and it's happened for a very long time.
I think one of the things that's actually good about it is for councillors or members of the public that want to lay a wreath at the memorial in Hetton and at Waysett Lane. If it's on 2 different days, you've got another chance to do that. So I think that's a plus, you know. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, well, I should just advise my parishioners then that to follow the normal procedure. Then, if they normally go to Easington Lane, go on a Sunday, and if they go to the mini park, then go on the day. I think that would seem to be the consensus. So, thank you, Chair.
That's what we did last time. Mr. Town Clerk?
Yeah, if I move on to item 5, flagpoles. Just for the benefit of the wider committee member who are unaware, at the last council meeting, we considered 3 quotations, and I was asked to get further information from one of the suppliers, supplier A. They confirmed some of the security aspects on the flagpoles. The official order was placed, and the flagpoles have now been delivered, and currently they are in safe storage. It's anticipated that they will be installed ASAP this week.
That's good.
Have installation instructions, and members will also recall that there's a local construction company or building company kindly offered to do the work free of charge. Hopefully they're on standby now, and we'll get it done pretty sharpish.
So as long as we can confirm that and make sure that they're in, that would be fantastic.
Well, they've certainly been delivered, and I've certainly got the bill, so it's all looking positive.
Well, I think that's fantastic news. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, can I confirm that, as per my suggestion at the town council meeting, we contacted supplier A, who was cheaper than supplier B, that if their specification matched, we would take it, because that was a saving £100. So do I take it that from what you've said and what I've read, supplier A's specification did match, and so we saved ourselves the £100 by asking that question?
I think it was nearer £300 actually.
Oh, well, there we go.
I love a bargain.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Rock on. Good.
Chair, can I just take the opportunity to actually thank Councillor Geddes, because it was Councillor Geddes's idea to have the flagpoles. He's been going on for a while to try and get this organised, and I think it's an excellent idea, and I would like to thank you for pushing this forward. I don't often have much to say about you, Councillor Geddes, but I'm going to say that tonight. I think it's an excellent idea and well thought of. Thank you.
Well, we can thank Merton Council for that, because it looks brilliant every time I pass.
Oh man.
Yes, well, I'll not thank you for the headache it's caused me, but there you go.
Right.
Mr. Chair, if I interject, what headache, Councillor Mr. Clark? I'm the one who arranged the storage and arranged the builder, so how can I don't think it was a headache to you.
Sorry, the headache around the how can I put this, the form filling and the bureaucracy had to be done, but we're there. That's the main thing.
Lovely. Okay.
Chair, could I, if I may, could I come in?
Yes.
As you know, I've always agreed with you, and great suggestion. I'm glad to see it's come to fruition, and all credit to you. We've talked about the Easington Lane, and we had questions about it at the previous meeting. When I reviewed the site, to me, it seems to be worth considering actually putting 2 proper flagpoles in, because there's room at the side of it, and of course the sort of footpath sort of or paved area goes behind the monument, and excuse me, you know, I think it would look rather lovely to consider that. If maybe if you as a committee could consider looking at that, if you could go and have a look and see what you think. But I think there's more than adequate room there, and I think they would really, you know, stand out on Easington Lane. It would be rather nice. And
Well,
we've got the system going now. We've seems to have got them for a bargain price, and if we get a bargain installation again, I think it would be worth considering. Thank you, Chair.
Well, my view would support that, because the ones at Merton look absolutely fantastic. They give kudos and a little bit of authority to the monument. Not that it needs it, but it looks great. And you know, the ones in our mini or Memorial Park will look great, but the ones up East Lane either side of the clock would look even better, because they're going to be seen by everybody, traffic included. So I would fully support that. I don't know about the rest of the committee, but I would certainly endorse that. Councillor Turner?
Well, you know, it's the 100th anniversary for the Lane Clock next year.
Right.
But you can't really fix anything to the clock itself, as you know, it's a listed building.
Yes, no, yeah.
But the land behind, that would be private land at the side behind that wall. I think it'll not belong to, I think it'll be private land, because they built those flats. And I don't know whether that land behind will belong to the people who built the flats. I'm not sure.
But
That'll have to be checked out.
What I would be thinking is either side of the clock tower itself on the pavement, close to the tower you can get. But I'll certainly have a look tomorrow, but that would be my view. Councillor Elvin? Councillor Elvin? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. No, what I'm saying is the clock tower is there, and there's a space either side that goes down and round, which is paved, presumably
Yes.
from the City Council.
Yeah.
And the garden that goes as associated with the housing development narrows down at that point. My suggestion is to go in the corner of the pavement, either side of the. So we'll be seeking Sunderland City Council's permission if we go ahead with it, but it would be, I think it would look super there. There would be sort of recessed back a little bit, and I think it would go in there nicely. But if you'd like to have a look at it, Chair, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll have a look tomorrow. But my view is I would wholeheartedly support that. Can we have a consensus by the committee?
Agree.
Agreed.
Great.
100%.
May I say, Chair, in light of what Councillor Turner said, it'd be lovely, especially with, you know,
I totally agree.
100th year
anniversary
celebration. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, Councillor Dodds, is that affirmative as well?
Yeah, Paul agree.
Right, smashing, thanks. Okay.
Fantastic.
Just before we move on, just turn to the flagpoles in the Memorial Stroke Mini Park. Can I just ask that I liaise further with Councillors Elvin and Gerris when we actually come to install, where so they go in the right spots.
Yeah.
I'll liaise further with you.
Chair,
sorry,
Chair,
Chair,
so I'll liaise with you when the man can come and do it. I should hopefully know tomorrow, and so we can liaise with everything when I get the final installation date for you. Is that okay?
That's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. Okay.
All right. Item 6, Christmas.
Oh, can I just take? Sorry, Mr. Town Clerk. Can I just take a little step back, because it's still on with the flagpoles. I was asked to contact Colour Sergeant Kevin Bourne regarding if we do get the flagpoles up and having the first flags flying, and I'm pleased to say that Kevin would be delighted to do that. I know it's going to. I've actually spoken to him and said it's going to be restricted, you know, day But I mean, you know, if that's what we can do, then that would be great. Councillor Elvin?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just talking about the flags, great idea, Councillor Geddes. Wholeheartedly support it. But we talked about a British Legion flag, and I subsequently sent some information to the clerk, and obviously they're difficult to get off, but the one that we would probably want to buy for a very modest sum was the Lest We Forget flag, which is the one they have at Merton. Could I ask, have we made a decision on buying that second flag? Because we'll obviously need to get that for the second poll, won't we, Chair?
Yeah, but you know, we need one. In fact, we'll possibly need two. Obviously, one for Hetton and one for Hazelton Lane. So again, I would support that we move on that as quickly as possible and purchase two. I don't know what the cost will be, but I think they'll be very reasonable. Councillor Elvin?
As I emailed the clerk the costings. It was very, very reasonable for a 5-foot flag, wasn't it? Only about £2.50 or something.
Sure.
No, Councillor Elvin, can I just come in on that? I checked that one out, and it's polyester, and it literally frays within a week of it being put up. But there is another one, and it's very reasonable. I think it was in the £30 bracket, $34.99, and it's got the toggles and all the gear, and it's a stronger version of what you'd mentioned. But the $2.99 one, honestly, the quality's just not there.
Can I propose that we just go ahead and get them, because you know we don't want to have something that we're going to have to continually replace. As long as the quality's good, I think that it should just go ahead. I mean, let's not forget that we're getting two flags off the Coldstream Guards for nothing. So, but again, I would propose that we go ahead and get them two flags. I would like a consensus, Mr. Town Clerk.
Can I just make a couple of comments here?
Yeah.
With flags, like everything else, you get what you pay for. And to get a decent quality flag, which is going to have some decent lifespan, you're probably talking a couple of £100. If we want some flags which are going to be displayed on short term only, yes, you can get them for £2.98, but it'll not last a couple of minutes if you get a gust of wind behind it. So I think there's probably a halfway sort of price range.
Yeah.
Maybe that Councillor Waterson's suggesting about.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to you. I'll pass the website on to you. But never mind the quality, feel the width.
Feel the width. Councillor Elvin?
So
you might say that, Councillor Wilson, but I couldn't possibly comment. Could I propose that we purchase one for the time being? It'd be a bit presumptuous. We don't know whether
I agree.
To do the second one and go with Councillor Waterson's suggestion.
Yeah, ensure the quality's there.
Can I just make a further suggestion here that we just set a price ceiling on this? Bear in mind that this committee doesn't have delegated powers. Will not have time to take this to full council to be ratified in terms of the expenditure at the meeting on the 21st of November. I can't quite remember now. No, it's not the 21st. But the November meeting will be too late for Remembrance Day. So I think on this occasion, is committee happy to just go ahead without ratification? I mean, I wouldn't anticipate there would be a problem because it's a relatively small amount of money.
We actually agreed a small sum, if you recall. I wanted that. I think I wanted £200, and I think we put a sum on of 50 or £100. But I mean, you know, to get these flags up, the flagpoles up at the flags, I don't think there's any councillor that will. I would hope there wouldn't be any councillor that would kick against it.
No, just doing my job. Just doing my job.
Yes. Can we have a consensus that we can go ahead with these flags and flags?
Yes.
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 Councillor Dodds? Councillor Dodds, you're on mute.
Yes. As long as we're going along with the code and the standing orders.
Yeah. Graham?
Five yeses.
I'm listening to what committee's discussing here. I take
Well, it's 100% yes, as long as we're not breaking any rules, and I don't think we are. I think sometimes you've got to say common sense. And like I said, I don't think any councillors would kick back against this.
Right.
I would hope not.
Can I just ask then, Councillor Waterson, could you send me that link?
Yes, I will.
Can you do that this evening, please? And can I ask,
I
is it
will.
by Amazon? Is it Amazon?
No, it was an actual flag company.
Right. Well, they might not do it without having the money up front. Send me the link. I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look
I
at it.
will. Yeah. Okay.
Councillor Elvin?
If there's any necessity for upfront, I'm quite happy to pay for it and then ask the council to reimburse me at a later date. We're not going to wait to see the ship spoil for a acres of time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think everybody would endorse that and do the same, Councillor Elvin. Thank you.
Sorry, Chairman, if I just come back on that, I'm not averse to putting my hand in Mrs. Keady's purse to get the money. That's not a problem to get reimbursed. It's just that some companies simply won't let you fulfill a transaction unless they've got that money up front. And because we are, well, so I'm quite happy to pay for paper and things by cash. If it's an online transaction, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm potentially use a card, but it's whether or not they'll do it. Some are a little bit iffy on the way the transaction works.
Can I just
check
say,
it out and I'll report back.
Yeah, can I just say, as long as we get it done and get everything we need here, then I think the people of Hetton, because of everybody in the country's had such a rough time, I think we need a little bit of a lift, So thank you for that, Mr. Clark. Next item. Unless there's anything else on that particular item.
No, I think one's done. Christmas, item 6.
Right. Who wants to kick off, mate?
Well, I put this on specifically because there'd been a previous discussion about getting an additional tree for a site in the mini park.
Right.
And my main aim of putting this on the agenda tonight was just to get some more details about how that might work, specification, price ceiling, that type of thing, power supply, illuminations, lights, the logistics of it.
Councillor Elvin? And then Councillor Turner.
Yeah, I've got on my screen in front of me some examples of prices from a reasonably local supplier. I haven't trying to get any better deal. You could get a 9-foot for £70, an 8-foot for £60, 7-foot for £50. I think a lot would depend on the height that we wanted. And at the last meeting, did we not ask you to contact the city council about whether we could have it, use that power supply that's already in the park and for illuminations. So I say, I would think that depending on what height you want, it wouldn't cost us any more than £100. We could probably get a better deal on that. That's just my first search of costings. Thank you.
Councillor Graham, do you want to come back on that one?
Yeah, just in terms of Councillor Elvin comments there, I haven't made the official inquiry to Sunderland because I'll need some detail. What we'll have to do is go through the same process in terms of getting a license to put it in the park in the same way that we have done with the flagpoles. So they will need to know exactly what we want, the height of it, and all the rest before I can actually do the. So I do recall you asking the question, can we do it? But I can't ask the question until I've got the details, hence the agenda item.
Thank you very much. Councillor Turner, I think you want to come in, and then Councillor Coulson.
Did we not discuss once about having a wrap tree?
Yes, I've got the information here, but well, if that's what you're asking, I've got the information here.
Because I would have thought that would be better than having 2 big Christmas trees,
Okay, well, if you don't mind, Councillor Coulson, I'll come back in. Now, I contacted the council, and I know Mr. Town Clerk did, but I've got it back, and it's per tree. And I'll just read this out because I've tried to send it and I can't. Supply of 18 boxes per tray, cool white 24-volt LED lights, transformers, connectors, 72 static plus 8 flash bulbs. Total cost 1368. That's supply. Then on top of that, you've got installation of electrical supply, pillar, associated cable and connections, transformer, timer, total 1568. So the total of wrapping 4 trees in our memorial or mini park is 2936.88.
Oh, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
That is an awful lot of money.
Because, I mean, I always think when we've got the one tree, if we have money to spend, could we not sort of get something, obviously, like selection boxes for the children rather than having 2 Christmas trees?
Can I just ask one question of yourself, Councillor Turner? If this committee were to go to the coalfields, would you as a city councillor sponsor us to do that? Because I think from the fact that our Christmas celebration lights in the main street, the palm trees, and we don't live in Miami, but I think I would love this committee and Hetton Town Council in conjunction with the coalfields to actually try and push the boat out and get at least 4 trees wrapped in our mini park. I would love it, and I'm sure the people of Hetton would appreciate it. And I don't think there's any time like the present to approach. So I would make this request of yourself, Councillor Turner, and or any other city councillor that would support that to try and get some funding. Even if we got 2 trees wrapped, 4 would be better. I would settle for 2.
I just feel as though at the moment, the way things are, you know, that to do something for the children, because we've already got the decorations and we've already got the tree. So I don't know.
I think to do something for the children. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, Councillor Waterson, but the Culture of Hetton got selection boxes every year, and we got them free from various outlets. So although I agree with you, I think that's something we can do and probably do, you know, if we can do it through this committee, because we're not having a lantern parade. So I think that's fine. I'm sure we can get, you know, various outlets to get them for nothing. But I would still like to see this committee approach the Coalfield Area Committee, because somebody enlighten me to what funding they have ever given to Hetton Town Council. And at the moment, I think the people of Hettonley Hall really need a lift, you know, whether that's putting new lights up instead of the palm trees that we've got, or wrapping the trees. I think that would be, I think that would go a long way to giving people a lift and show people that everybody can work together.
Oh, so, we can work together. But yeah. The thing is, I mean, the area committee is more for charities, isn't it? You know, sort of for voluntary groups. Whereas the Hetton Town Council is a statutory body.
Well, I'll phrase the question a different way, and then I can let Councillor Elvin come in. As chair of the Culture for Hetton, and we've got a member of the Culture of Hetton here, we are a charity. If what I'm asking now from a Hetton Town Council perspective is a little off the rails, then I'll ask you this question, Councillor. I'm sorry that you're the only city councillor here.
No, it's all right.
Would a city councillor support and sponsor the Culture of Hetton, which is a charity, and we're not, I mean, the statue's up and we do other things now. Would a city councillor support and sponsor the Culture of Hetton, who is a charity, go on to try and get the funding for these trees or some of it?
Are you a registered charity, are you?
Yes.
You are registered. Well, you could get the form, you know, and then we can take it from there. So are you saying that you would sponsor us? Well, when we get the form and you put all the details on, and then we can look into it. Okay, that's great. Councillor Elvin? Councillor Elvin?
Right, well, I just I was going to say something else, but that just beggars the issue. If I could just ask Councillor Turner, so are you telling me the normal procedure is if a charity wants to ask the area coalfield committee for somebody to sponsor a project, they have to first of all submit it to?
Yes, you complete the form.
And who do you send it to?
Just any one of the councillors. And
then
they do it, and then the other councillors got to sort of, agree.
Agree. Who do we get
so
the
you would
forms
have
off
to get all three councillors would have to agree then?
Yeah, well, it's got to be, yes, yeah, they've got to sort of.
Because the implication is that a single city councillor can sponsor it.
That's what I thought.
Telling me that's not the case.
No. There's one person got to sponsor it, and then the others it's got to be signed.
You're saying the others have got to agree to it, though? Okay. Well, if I could come back to the original point, it's still as clear as mud that to me, but there we go. It's a terrible echo now. I think there's a lot of people not got their mics muted. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hi.
First question, Chair, is this sum of money for all 4 trees, would they then be a permanent fixture and be able to be switched on at any time? That was the first question. Would you like to address that before I ask you the second one?
There's 2 ways you can do it. I haven't spoken to Aurora. Because we would be purchasing them, it would be up to Hetton Town Council or this type of committee to decide whether they could be left up permanently and then just powered on the Christmases, or whether you would want them taken down. Until we really are in a position to understand if we can get the funding from the coalfields, I think that would be a mute thing, because if we can get them, if we can get that kind of money raised from wherever, then any other problem's just a smaller issue. But they usually in Sunderland, I don't know, do they take them down, Councillor Turner, in Sunderland? Because I know local park used to have an absolute run of them in there. Do you know that, Councillor Turner?
I couldn't. I would have to inquire, because I don't know that much about it, really.
Right. Can I just say then, for Councillor Elvin's and everybody else's benefit on the committee, obviously I've got the information from Andrew Bosworth, as has, I'm not sure if Graham has, but I'll certainly make some inquiries of the contractor and just see what the normal procedure is, see if there's any costs involved in them taking them down, storage, and then putting them up. I would expect there is, but I'll get that information back to Councillor Elvin and the town clerk to disseminate it out. Councillor Elvin?
Before I come in, I think Councillor Coulson just wanted to say something, then I'll come back in afterwards.
Yes, who holds the keys to the mini park?
Well, I think that would be Sunderland Council. I don't know what you mean by holds the keys. It is the responsibility of Sunderland Council.
I know we haven't got the installation gate yet, but to make sure the gate is open for the firm that's going to come and do the installation of the poles. Don't want to come with the gates locked. That's my point.
I don't think, Councillor Coulson, the gates have ever been locked.
Oh, they're not locked anymore.
No.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, if they were to be installed, that sort of money, my view would be they want to be a permanent installation, that the one that we could turn on and off as we wanted them. Or leaving one all winter, for instance, whatever, just to make the place look a little bit brighter. because you certainly wouldn't want to be spending £3,000 every year just to keep redoing it. It would be a lot. Coming back to the idea of the extra Christmas tree, and bearing in mind what you have said about, presentation boxes, to be donated. I mean, I don't know how many children there are in Hetton, but there's got to be in the thousands, I would have thought. And I would have thought we didn't have the money to buy a box for every single child in Hetton. And if we were going to do it, we're going to ration it, on what basis would it be able to give them out? I mean, it's a very nice thought, but I can see the logistics being awfully difficult on that one. And I think, I still think that an extra small tree in the mini park, with it, especially if we can't get it dressed, that would be the ideal situation. But if we can't get it dressed with some lights on, I think would look lovely. It would not be anything that was going to compete with the main tree. It would just be something just to add a little bit of cheer to the good folks of Hetton.
Can I just come back on that? I mean, I think the first thing I would say around the selection boxes is we're on very dodgy ground with the COVID. I think that would be the first thing to consider. I think the second thing is, Councillor Watson would probably agree. We've done the Lantern Parade and we've had Santa Claus in the Hetton Centre, and Councillor Watson, you might be able to help me here, but I think we got something like 300 selection boxes off one particular shop without any problem. But I think that's something, and you're right, Councillor Elvin, it would be impossible to look at Hetton Ward and give selection boxes out to every single child. You just couldn't do it logistically or financially. I think, from that point. Councillor Watson.
Yeah, can I say it's not just Hetton, it's East Drayton.
That's
it's East
Drayton.
Yeah, I mean it's massive. It would be massive.
I mean, you could just give it to the ones that's in like infants and juniors. Like give them out at school.
In the reception type of thing, to the reception.
Like, not the big kids.
Yeah, the
just
reception.
The small, yeah.
I mean, that's something that we can certainly look at, because the likes of Tesco and other people, where we're getting them for the last, I think, 3 years. Susan, Councillor Watson, I mean, I'm mindful of the COVID, but that's something that we can certainly look at as an additional to what we try to do with the trees, whichever we go with the trees. Councillor Elvin? Oh, sorry, Councillor Coulson first.
Yeah, we can't give a selection box to all the kids. But if the school just having school parties on, maybe we could give some prizes to each individual school in the area. I think that would be better. That's all we can do this year.
Yeah. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, wouldn't a nice compromise be to say, look at, say, the reception children in all the different schools, find out how many they are, and then get Tesco's or somebody to sponsor it, like you did with your Lantern Parade, then acknowledge them that we've asked this, what we'd like to do, would they consider doing it? We're not doing the Lantern Parade. And, this is really what parish and town councils are about, getting the community involved with doing things like we have, obviously with the installation of the flagpole posts, so that way we could, as I say, do the same thing, but restrict it maybe just to the reception, find out how many reception there are across all the schools, and then see if you could do your magic, Councillor Waterson, and get them again and have them dished out, and we would kindly acknowledge that it was sponsored by Tesco's or whoever.
Councillor Watson?
Can I just say, yeah, you know, I can see it's a marvellous idea, but you've got the, you know, you've got the kiddies who can't have chocolates, who are allergic to nuts. I think it's a minefield, this, and you know, I'm not poo-hooing it, and you know, but I just think it's an absolute minefield. You've got COVID, you've got the logistics of getting these selection boxes to children, and as I say again, you know, some kiddies can't have the chocolate, so what do you do then?
Give them a tangerine.
Give them a tangerine to a selection box. I don't know. I'm certainly not poo-hooing it. You know, I think it's a lovely idea. I just wonder how it's going to work at this time and the way the situation is with COVID and everything.
Councillor Turner?
The only other thing you could do was donate to the food banks. You know, you could give so many boxes to the food bank and they put them in, you know, for the, you could do something that way.
Yeah, that's no. Anybody agree with Councillor Turner on that one? I mean, to be fair, I mean, this would be a mute conversation because if COVID hadn't occurred, then the culture Hetton would be doing a lantern parade, and you know the selection boxes would be given out. But given the current circumstances, the committee shows from that particular charity that you know it was a minefield, as Councillor Waterson's just said. I mean, there would have to be a consensus of the committee which way we go here. I'll be quite honest, my own view as a councillor, as the chair, I would like to make sure the whole of Hetton and the ward, you know, everybody that's passing through Hetton could see, you know, the trees wrapped or the main street lights upgraded. That would be my own personal view, but you know, I'm just the chair. I'm just here to voice my opinion as chair. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, I would support your view, Councillor Geddes.
Mm-hmm.
Second that, yeah.
Yeah.
So can we just clarify that at the moment our priority is to get the required forms from the Coalfield Area Committee, get the forms filled in, forward them to Councillor Turner, who's kindly, you know, said forward them, and we'll take it from there. Is that what we are agreeing to? Councillor Elvin?
From my understanding, what Councillor Turner said, Hetton Town Council wouldn't do it. She seemed pretty emphatic that they weren't going to give us any money.
Sorry, my mistake, Councillor Elvin. It would be through the culture of Hetton.
Okay.
Councillor Waters, sorry, Mr. Town Clerk.
Can I just make a point here, because I think we need to be absolutely clear on the protocols surrounding the community chest funding, which I believe the Coalfield Area Committee has,
yeah,
and any other funding. I already have an outstanding query on the range of funding opportunities which we could potentially tap into. I think we need to get clarity on that. My understanding from 2019 was that the town council was eligible for the community chest funding, provided we had a sponsor. The query was raised at that stage that we perhaps weren't an eligible organisation, but my recollection is that we were. But I do think, just for absolute clarity, I'll get the chapter and verse on the different funding streams, and I shall share it with members.
That would be great, because we have got some leeway, because obviously we're talking about Christmas. But and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, Councillor Waterson, as a member of the culture of Hetton. I would prefer to go through Hetton Town Council or anywhere else. I mean, if there is a funding stream you know, straight to it was John Kelly before. I don't know if there's anything. What I'm saying is, I think it's a long time since Hetton Town. Well, I don't know any time Hetton Town Council's been given a sum like this, where we can really push the boat out with regards to the celebrations. But something's just popped into my head, Councillor Turner. Didn't the main council take a vote, and didn't the city councillors get a quite a sum of money for the Christmas lights? I mean, I remember seeing a lot of hoo-ha in social media where there was a rat vote which didn't go ahead, but there was a vote went ahead for more funding for celebrations, and I'm mindful that that meant Christmas lights. Would that be correct, Councillor Turner? I'm sorry that it's all coming to you, Councillor Turner, but I'm just, I mean, you are here as, you know, you're here as a
city
member.
council. Well, I'm here as a Hetton Town councillor, actually, not
Yeah.
as a city councillor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I would have to check up on that one.
Right. I mean, I can certainly check up because I've got all of the City of Sunderland Council meetings on my smart TV. And my recollection was that that went ahead. The only thing I can't remember whether it was 3,000 or 10,000. I can't remember that. But Councillor Alban?
10,000, Mr. Chairman, 10,000.
Was that for, is that per city councillor? That was my recollection.
It was per area, I believe.
Per area. Yeah. Well, again, I mean, it's somewhere towards that. But again, I think we should. We've already agreed to go to the area coalfield committee, get the forms. You know, whether that's through the City of Sunderland, you know, through ourselves as the committee, or through a charity. I think we've already agreed that Mr. Clark's going to sort that. So,
would you have, you know, sometimes they ask the organisation to put a small amount towards it as well, rather than giving the full amount, you know. I know that sometimes happens. They'll give so much, and then the organisation gives so much.
Well, can I just say that I understand where you're coming from, and it might upset somebody saying this, but I recall as the chair, and again, I'm sorry for pitching the culture of Hetton into it, but we approached the Coalfields Area Committee to help us with funding, and as everybody realises, we raised £52,000 for Real Longsdale statue. Now, you know, I'm not going to poo-hoo any money we get off anybody, but we did get £485, I believe, for the Culture of Hetton statue. And I know the city council is getting thousands for different things. So, you know, I think, you know, one way or the other, I think Hetton hasn't had a fair crack of the whip at the Coalfields Area. But that's just my opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, I know a lot of the voluntary organisations have done quite well with the area committee. You know, we have sponsored quite a lot of the local organisations.
I mean, to be quite honest, the culture of Hetton as an organisation, and I'm sorry to go on about this, but the culture of Hetton as an organisation got thousands of individuals, and in fact, I'll name one chap, and it was Richard Elvin's colleague, Mr. Costello, that straight away gives £1,000. We only got half that off the area committee. But anyway,
you got money from Town Council, or didn't you?
We did.
Was it 5,000 or something?
We did. Yeah. But we got similar sums off private individuals.
So, yes. So
I think, can I just go back to where we are? Can we just, we've agreed that the town clerk would look at funding streams, that can we get the forms from the Coalfield Area Committee?
Oh, yes, I can get the forms to you.
Right, and so we can agree that that can move on. I know we've got some leeway because we're only into November. If people have anything to say on that particular item, I would be happy to hear it. Councillor Elvin?
Yeah, just to go back to the original thing, which was to putting a small tree in the park and getting it dressed. does the committee want to progress that on the basis of deciding on a height of a tree and getting Graham to submit it to Sunderland to ask them what would the procedure be, and the lighting and everything of it.
Can I just come back on that, Councillor Evan?
Yes,
I think,
please.
I think one of the things that the town clerk would need to address is if the power's still. I know there's a power point there where in the position we're talking about. Whether that's still live, how much it's going to cost to get made live. Obviously I would imagine that would form part of the other tree turning on, where again I think we would have to agree that we did the same as last year. We're not going to peer through the nose to get every tree turned on at the same time. We'll leave them to Aurora to deal with that. But I think what you're saying is pull the costs together, see what's the total's going to be, and move from there. Councillor Alvin?
Chair, might I suggest that if the committee's agreement that the clerk writes to the council, say we'd like to put a 10-foot tree, say there, or 9 foot, just pick a number, 9 or 10-foot tree, and ascertain the feasibility of it, whether they'll give us a license, and at the same time, confirm that the power source is still live, which I suspect it will be, and whether we could address it, but I don't suppose we would be able to. That their preferred supplier would what we're charged to address it, and then come back. At least we've got a figure, and we can either say yay, nay, or whatever we want to do. At least it's a starting point.
Can I come back in, because, and I'm not trying, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Merton and Rayton have got a tree, and Easington Lane have got a tree, and Hetton's got a tree. I'm very mindful that the Downs Lane haven't got a tree, and I want to be very careful that the people up the Downs, and I used to live up the Downs, don't turn around and say Hetton's got 2 trees and the Downs Lane's got none. And I would like your views on that, because everything that the council does is scrutinised, and I'm just a bit mindful that we might be seen as putting 2 trees in the centre of Hetton and none up the Downs Lane. I just want everybody to understand that. I mean, Councillor Willis, you live up the Downs Lane. What would your view be?
I think it would be nice. I know, because there was issues before about, everything always happens in the middle of Hetton, nothing ever happens up there. It's like Lost City up there. And I know the old people's home, Elizabeth Fleming, they used to try and put things on. And like a lot of people from the local area would go. I think it would be.
Can I just say that we discussed this, I think it was last year, and the committee agreed then that we would look at putting a tree up there. And correct me if I'm wrong, any member of the committee, but Councillor Heron resisted that due to the fact that there was new houses built up there from Gleeson. You know what? Christine knows, Councillor Willis knows, I'm from Hetton Downs anyway. And I mean, I'm not discounting what Councillor Heron said, but I want to make it clear there are lots and lots of areas up in Hetton Downs where you can put a tree and it would be received. But again, can I just say that's my own personal viewpoint. I'm not trying to deter Councillor Elvin in any way. I'm just aware that, and I didn't know what Councillor Willis was going to say there, because I've never spoken to Councillor Willis, so that just really confirms my.
There's a difference between the Downs Lane and up the Downs. I mean, I think a tree would be lovely, Church Road, where the bungalows is a big green.
Yeah.
Because that bit road, because obviously it's next to the school as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just use that road.
Well, it's a bus route.
Yeah, but I think next to the school will be just, and it's opposite the playground as well. It would be lovely to have something up here because we are the sort of back end.
Yeah. I'm aware of that.
But as for like the Downs Lane, I think, yeah, you know, I think it would be nice to have a tree up there, but
I was thinking more of up the Downs, you know,
up the Downs. Yeah.
I'll bring Councillor Elvin in because I don't want to hog it. Councillor Elvin? Yeah. You're on mute, Councillor Elvin. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, Councillor Coulson had his hand up before me, so...
All right, I'm quite happy, Councillor Coulson.
Yeah, got to remember the installation cost. I think it's about 2,500 to get the installation.
No, I think the last time we got in Councillor Coulson outside the library, it was 1,150.
I remember the previous clock because I wanted to get it moved to East Drayton from beside the old people's houses rather down in the village, and I think the former clerk said it was about 2,400 for the installation.
Councillor Elvin?
May I, Chair, still run with my original suggestion that we task the clerk to do what I suggested, but then tag, and then could I suggest that we task you with visiting at the Downs and looking at a suitable place for a tree, because it has been discussed before, and then we can then start looking into feasibility and the costings of getting one installed there.
Yes. Can I just impose on probably Councillor Willis and Councillor Pearson, who are up that area? Can you get your heads together and pick a suitable time when I've got both of you, and we'll do that. We'll have a nice walk around it, and anybody else that wants to come are quite welcome. But yeah, I would support that. You.
Say last year we would try and ask Gleeson, as they're building quite a few houses, whether they would be, you know, to be able to.
Well, actually, Madam Mayor, I think that's an excellent idea, and I think when yourself and Christine tell me when you're available, we'll pop into the Gleeson show home and ask and get the details of their area manager. Because it'll be the area manager, the saleswoman will not be able to make any decisions on that, but she will put us in contact with who we need to be in contact with. Councillor Coulson?
Yeah, it's a good point, because while they're up there with all the building, they might be able to put the electrical leads so far and eliminate the original cost. It all depends how far it's got to go. So while they're building the house, they might be able to put something in so that when we've got it connected, it doesn't cost so much.
They may well sponsor, because I know when I asked Andrew Bosworth from Balfour Beatty Aurora, I asked him if we would sponsor, and he said, well, no, we can't, because if we sponsor you, we've got to sponsor everybody else. You know, but, you know, Mr. Town Clerk?
Sorry, Chairman, I don't know if you can see this, but Councillor Dodds would like to speak as well.
I haven't got a... I think only you can see, because I've just...
Yeah, no, there's a blue hand.
I've got a few concerns. Main one is time scale on this, because we would be looking at putting these trees up at the end of this month. I know we're saying it's only November, but to get the maximum effect and the maximum time out of them, they normally do go up at the end of November, don't they? So we're only talking 2 or 3 weeks to get this sorted out.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's that quick, to be honest with you, Councillor Dodds. I can't recall last year's...
so went up on the 29th of November.
Right. 29th of November.
So you've still got, you know, three weeks or so. You know, it's not impossible. Councillor Elvin?
Sorry, I'm not finished yet.
Sorry, Councillor Dodds. Sorry about that. I can't see you.
Costing of the lighting for the trees as well in the Memorial Park, the mini park. I think what we need to do a full costing of how much it would cost for a 9-foot tree, including the lighting, because as Councillor Turner did say, £1,000 could be well spent this year on feeding people, particularly with COVID and being in a lockdown, and potentially being in lockdown over Christmas as well. And I just think it could potentially be a waste of money lighting a tree up when we could be feeding people. So I think that we need to get a full costing and then take this to full council. And for the Downs, I know it was discussed, a tree up here, because Councillor Pearson suggested it, and I'm sure that we were waiting for Gleeson to finish their development to see if it could be located opposite the Top Shop, or an alternative location was on the corner of Church Road and Regent Street. But the church opposite the George's Park on Church Road, I don't think it would be acceptable there for light pollution for the bungalows.
I think what this council committee's done is tasked Councillor Willis, Councillor Pace and myself to go around and have a look and see what areas are available, and disseminate that to the committee. I mean, I personally, because I lived up there all my life, I know what's available or not, but I'm just one person. As for the feeding of needy people, I'm sure that the council as a whole and this committee are well aware of that. But I don't want this committee to be put in a position where they've got to choose one against the other. I really don't. I mean, if you are saying as a councillor that there is such a need, then I would expect you to come with a plan and come to the relevant committee or the council itself and put it forward.
No, Chair, I don't think you're understanding. I'm saying, can we have the costing for a 9-foot tree with the light?
We've already agreed that. We've already.
So it can be taken to full council to discuss whether full council would want to put the tree in at that cost or spend the money elsewhere.
Councillor Elvin, do you want to come back on that?
Yeah, that is my proposal. I've already said that that Councillor, the town clerk, I'm not going to repeat myself because it's the second time I've done it. This proposal is already on the table, that we get the costings, and then the costings can be brought back and analysed and decide whether we want to do it or don't want to do it. So that has already been discussed.
It hasn't been agreed.
And hopefully, that's what I propose. So that gets rid of that one. And the second one on the time factor, we've proven that Sunderland City Council can actually do something in a less than a 9-month period, because we asked them to extract their digit finger and get us the permission to put up the flagpoles, and they came back to sweet and produced it. So time is a factor, but we have proven that Sunderland City Council, when pressured and when we have a good clerk who gets on the case for the council, things can get done. So I don't think taking into consideration the time factor, but this stage in the game, unless we start asking the questions, it's going to be put back and it'll be next year or the year after. At least we should start the ball rolling, and nobody's suggesting we spend anything without going to full council.
That's true.
Thank you, Chair.
Anybody else got anything on that one?
Chair, can I just come in? That I was actually sitting with my hand up for most of that conversation, and those were the questions that I was wanting to ask, and I was just clarifying my position.
Can I just say, Councillor Dodds, all I've got on my screen is a T. I can't see you or a hand or anything.
No, I can't.
I'm sorry, but if you're insinuating I ignored you, I can't see you. I just can't see you. All I've got is Councillor Dodds and a T.
Chair, I'm not saying that you were ignoring us. My hand was up, and I'm fully aware that the town clerk knows my hand was up.
Right.
And I'm just waiting to speak, and it was Councillor Elvin that's insinuating that I wasn't listening. I'm fully aware, and I am listening. Those were just the questions, and I know that he's saying Sunderland Council can pull the finger out when they want to, but we need to be mindful of the time scale on this. That's what we need to consider as a committee.
With regards to the time scale, I'll give you a little indication. I think certainly with regards to the wrapping of the trees, this has been going on for months now. You know, it's took some time to get to this spot. And I think from a point of view of the trees, the main council have already agreed the place, and Mr. Town Clerk's already been round to the nursery at Hetton after Sunderland Council dug her up to make peace with them. So I think, you know, the only thing would be that there would be an additional tree if the costs come back positive, and if this committee agreed to it, and if we took it to the main council. So I think we've covered everything on that particular point, unless anybody else has got anything to say on it. No. Are you completely confident of where we're at, Mr. Town Clerk, on that particular point?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, can we move on to the next?
Well, the final item on the agenda was just a date and time of next meeting. To be upfront, we're not going to get another committee meeting in before we have full council, which is a week from, sorry, it's a fortnight today, isn't it? So there are a number of issues which have fallen out of tonight's meeting, which will probably form substantive agenda items for full council. And not least of all, some of those aspects which have financial implications.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think, from my perspective, we're done.
Just with regards to the seating of the Memorial Mini Park, whoever's looking at that particular item, and I assume it's yourself, Councillor Elvin, and Mr. Town Clerk, will you be disseminating that information of when that particular work will be carried out? Councillor Elvin?
Yes, Councillor, as I mentioned earlier, that the second I know I get the confirmed date for the installation, I'll be in touch with you and everybody else and the clerk, and you know, we'll get it rocking and rolling.
Lovely. Mr. Town Clerk, is that it? Are we done? Is that the agenda finished?
Yes, well, concluded the agenda.
It just leaves me to say thank you to everybody that's turned up. It's been interesting, and I hope we've moved forward on a couple of things. Good night.
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Ending the recording now.
Good night.
Thanks a lot.